Hello and welcome to What Are You Saying? #Ways, where we talk about topics in the news as it affects us all. I am Osayua Mesale, and today Messi and I are in studio doing the thing that we love to do. I'm
Yeah.
not sure we love it, but we did do. I'm sure. Let me speak for
Well,
myself.
we do love it.
Yeah. How
Yeah,
are
we
you,
do love it.
Messi?
Very well, thank you.
How's the weekend been?
Uh,
Coping.
I mean, it's just been there's a lot of stress. The weather is hot. I mean, we're looking at 38 degrees Celsius. That's very hot. And the power situation is
My darling.
epileptic. There's no petrol. There's inflation. We're using so much money to buy few goods. So you could have like 200K right now, and it doesn't mean anything. And it doesn't really mean anything because you could be the next minute you're left with 500 naira. So that's it.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy,
that's
crazy.
it.
I had a very interesting day today,
I can see.
but we are here. I
Yeah.
just want to say thank you to Franca because she's the one that saved myself. Because I don't even know how I would have done myself today.
Oh,
But it's been a crazy day today. But thank you, Franca came through for me.
I'm glad.
Hmm, some mechanics. Our generator don't go off,
You didn't have to say it.
but it's part of Nigeria. This is what we're saying.
Yeah, it's our reality,
That is,
honestly. And I feel like we have actually kept quiet for too long.
yeah,
That's what I was telling someone that's outside,
yeah.
wisdom. And I said that we've kept quiet for too long. We have condoned a lot of things for too long that it has become a norm. And right now it's backfiring. We're seeing it because we keep quiet. We just ignore things. No, there's no light. Oh, it's normal. Well, okay. There's no light. You have money. Go and buy petrol. How long will you continue that
It's even
nonsense?
crazier now because it's crazier now because right here in this office we have power from the grid, we have backup power from the generators, we have backup power from inverters and solar systems, and yet we're still experiencing all of these things. So at this point, everybody pardon us. Is Nigeria? We can't. I mean, there are some things that I think we've tried everything we can as a people, and there are some things that are just not within our control.
And that's what I would say, that we cannot continue like this. We have no business being in darkness. Giant of Africa has no business not having power supply. At this point in our life, 62 years or how many years again? We ought to be talking about constant power supply across the entire country. It's not rocket science.
Absolutely not. All right, so tonight, in partnership with Enough is Enough, we're going to be having a conversation around TNCG conference with the theme Technology, the Present and the Future of Technology, Political Action in Africa. And we have Nancy Odimegu. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. She's a communication associate at Budget, and she's live on Zoom with us. Hi, Nancy. How are you? Did I
I'm
pronounce your
fine. Hi,
surname
good evening.
correctly?
It's Odimegu. You were close to it, but I'll pardon you.
Odimegu. Okay. Hi,
Yes.
Nancy. All right, Nancy, talk to us. Technology. How are we looking at technology driving political actions in Africa? And first of all, you see, when I hear technology and political actions in Africa, I don't think Nigeria is ready for that. I don't think, because again, we know how far technology is helping transform political actions across the world. I mean, look at the US elections. We're here in Nigeria monitoring like live result. I was watching a podcast. It was live result as it is being, announced and everything is, and that's the power and that's the beauty of technology. I don't see us embracing that because again, the system needs to not have those kinds of functionalities so that certain elements can continue to take advantage of the political structure. But you tell me, what's this conference about, and why are we talking about technology and how it can drive African politics?
All right. Thank you so much. So the Technology New Media Citizens and Governance Conference is happening, I think, next week, Thursday. It's a conference put together by EIE and Budget. But I think I'll just counter you a little bit when you're talking about Nigeria not being ready for technology, because I think we are, and we are getting there. Take, for instance, the 2023 election. We had the live election results. Though there was challenges from the government, yes, but I think the citizens are willing, but we don't just have the infrastructure that we need to take us there. So just to talk about the conference, it's just like trying to bridge the gap between the government and citizens. We're going to be having speakers from across Africa. We're going to be having a keynote address from the vice president, the former vice president of Nigeria, that is Professor Yemi Osibanjo, and a lot of other experts, innovators, people that do interact with innovations and digital technology from day to day. So we're going to be seeing how they're doing it in other African countries, and then we'll be seeing, okay, what can we pick to replicate in Nigeria and what should we not pick? So basically, it is to bring together both stakeholders from the government sectors and citizens, where they get to ask questions, where they get to interact, and where they get to see how they can actually leverage technology, because technology at this point has come to stay and it is very important. So we're just going to see how citizens can use it very well to get involved in politics, to engage in governance, to demand accountability, to demand transparency from the government, and let's see how we'll take it from there. So basically, that's just what the conference is going to be talking about. It's going to be talking about how technology.
But away from the conference,
in Africa's democracy. Yes, I'm with you.
All right. So away from the conference, I'd like to ask you how these technological solutions can be made more accessible and relevant to grassroots communities in Africa, considering the barriers that that we have: digital illiteracy, infrastructure, and economic constraint.
Okay, so the accessibility, for a fact, is that technology has not gotten everywhere in Nigeria. We're trying, but we're not there yet. There are still some communities, there are still some areas in Africa, or let's say Nigeria now, that we don't have that digital infrastructure yet. Let's talk about getting the infrastructure right, first of all. So if you get the infrastructure right, then we'll now talk about the accessibility. How expensive is it for people to have access to? How easy is the data for people to actually use to access this technology we're talking about? And then we talk about the literacy. So, but you can't actually talk about the literacy, you can't actually talk about the accessibility without talking about the infrastructure. Because if there is no digital infrastructure up in a very remote area in the north, people would not even have access to it, much more learning how to use it. So we don't have that digital infrastructure yet that has actually covered all the areas that it ought to. We just have in selected places, but there are still some communities in Nigeria today that don't have access. There's nothing that's connecting them with technology and all of those things. So if we talk about that, we're not going to talk about how they can access it, the costs it will take for them to actually get the data to do these things. And then we'll talk about the literacy. Are they aware? Do they know how to use it? Do they not know how to use it? So these are some of the factors that are affecting it, so to say, in Nigeria's digital landscape.
So when you people are talking about technology and talking about some remote village in the north, the remote villages are all around us. Even some areas here. Do you understand? I mean, our technological infrastructure is quite epileptic in Nigeria. And let me tell you, you are countering me, but you're also somewhat burying yourself, because I mean, as little as an election that is done and you cannot even transmit electoral results, you promised to transmit results. You understand? And you cannot, and they will tell you, oh, the server was down, network was down, and all of those things. I don't think so. I like the positivity where you're going, but I don't think the people that are benefiting politically from the current structure as it stands in our political structure, I don't think they would want technology to really, really come full force. Because if technology were in play, a lot of things will happen. Look at what happened in the 2023 elections. A lot of young people, 19-year-olds, 18-year-olds, they were at the polling unit tweeting, snapping their electoral results and tweeting, and they are doing all of those things, saying that this is the result from my polling. You could see that there was an infusion of technology in that political process, especially in the 2023 general elections. But despite all of those things, but yet you know how the drama happens. It is in the, what's it called? What they call that center? What's the center now? After they finish the collation center. The drama happens. You understand? So I don't know. I don't know what the plan would be for us to start to have like live. What's the word? Live stations at those collation centers, so that whatever it is, just upload it into the cloud. No need for all that drama. right? Say you are trying to write election results with hand. If we really want to solve the problem in Nigeria, we know what to do. But hey, I don't know. So what do you hope to achieve in the end? You know, what would success mean if this conference comes to life? What would success mean for you guys?
Okay, it's just be reshaping governance, reshaping it and making citizens more involved in politics, changing the dynamics of political action in Nigeria, improving democracy with the use of technology, because we have some technology tools, we have some digital tools. Take, for instance, the EIE, Office of the Citizen, right? There's a chatbot that make you have access to all your elected representatives at just a glance. That's a very easy click. And before now, we don't have that kind of technology in Nigeria. We don't even have access to all of those things. So for success for TNCG would be citizens understanding that, okay, their rights are secured. They won't be bullied into being quiet. They won't be shut down, because we've had cases where governments in Africa, not even Nigeria, where things are not going well for them, and then you just shut down the internet. We've had that case in Nigeria, we've had that case in Uganda. So citizens want to understand that, okay, I'm literate enough to understand that I need to use technology to get involved in governance. I'm literate enough to know that, okay, I need to use technology to demand the transparency and accountability that I want my public office holder to actually live up to. But then they just need to have that. They just need to understand that, okay, the government will support them.
Absolutely.
They just need to understand that, okay, you won't clamp down on me under some cyber security policy, under some policy that you're shaping just to make sure that I keep quiet, or I don't, you won't just come and arrest me or pick me off the street. You won't intimidate me for using my digital means, to get involved in governance and be part of political actions in Nigeria. So yes, that would be success for TNCG, because we'll be having state actors in the same room as citizens, and we hope that, okay, there will be good conversations, there will be good networking, and there will be questions that will be asked and answered.
Okay. Yeah. All right, we'll look forward to that conference. Thank you so much for your time, Nancy. All right, so tonight on the show, we will be addressing the impact of single-party structures on governance and how it affects fiscal sustainability. And here's what we found as today's quote. It says, the lack of political pluralism is single-party states often led to misallocations of resources, undermining fiscal sustainability and economic resilience. This was from an anonymous source. We'll take a break now. We quickly come back and rush through what we found in the news, then we'll jump into the conversation for today. Stay with us. All right, thanks for staying with us. The United Nations has declared November 18th as the World Day for the Prevention of and Healing from Child Sexual Exploitation, Abuse, and Violence, aiming to raise awareness about the pervasive issues of child sexual violence and mobilize efforts for prevention and healing. This observance underscores the urgent need for action, particularly given that statistics reveal that 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 9 boys experience sexual violence before reaching adulthood, providing a platform for survivors to share their stories and advocate for change. Now, supported by organizations as Brave Movement and Together for Girls, this day calls on global leaders to implement and support implement effective policies that protects children and supports survivors, serving as a crucial reminder of our collective responsibility to combat child sexual exploitation and ensure every child can live free from violence. Very important day. I mean, as adults, we were having conversations around sexual molestations, things that we thought were normal. You are playing mommy and daddy, all those kind of nonsense play we were playing as children. You didn't realize that was how a lot of young people were, subtly sexually molested, all in the name of all of those things. So, I mean, effort like this should be commended. All right, so Messi, what did you find for us in the news?
I found this one. I'm not sure we can actually take that audio, but if you can just run the video, if you do have the clip of where Falana was speaking to Pastor Deboye, building business centers, not religious institution. That made, it was a very friendly, topic and issue. It became a national trend. And it got a lot of people talking, because recently, I think that there's been a lot of talk about religion. We've heard Peter Obi talk about the church having more night shifts rather than night vigils. And now you hear Femi Falana, a son, who's saying that, a very renowned pastor of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, as a matter of fact, is the GO, General Overseer, is building more business centers than not religious institution. And I know that...
But haven't we made church like a commercial thing? It is.
Well...
Peter Obi was criticized because he went on the Honest Bunch podcast, right? He was criticized for the statement he made about instead of going for night vigils, right? I mean, people should. I think it was something around that, and now people have gone to dig up some pastors that were criticizing what he said. I think one of them was Afemi Lazarus, I believe, or something. They dug up those videos, but I mean, it's the reality because if you check what is going on in churches, right? Church has become more a business place. I mean, I had an interview with the current PFN chairman for Lagos chapter, Pastor Yemi Davids, and I was saying to him, but he was saying that yeah, the truth is they have diesel, they have generator, they run like a proper structure. So definitely, it's possible for people to see them as such. But what they also bring in terms of the kind of hope and comfort that imagine if we could picture ourselves without churches, where would we be? But hey, that conversation is a Tuesday topic. My story is just to bring something that I saw, road safety talking about death, says that about 3,767 people lost their lives in 7,011 road crashes between January and September of this year. This was a statement that was said by the Federal Corps Marshal Shehu Mohammed. He said this in Bauchi during the flag off of the 2024 road traffic crash 16th remembrance. He said that 22,373 others sustained varying degrees of injuries in road crashes within the period under review. It would be nice, I just wanted to mention this, but it would be nice to know what the root cause of those road traffic accidents would have been. You understand? Because I know that is largely linked to bad road. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have a conversation. Stay with us. All right, thanks for staying with us. Now, the fiscal sustainability of Nigerian state has emerged as a critical concern in recent years as many states grapple with significant financial challenges that threatens their economic sustainability and development. Fiscal sustainability refers to the ability of a government to maintain its current spending policies without running into financial trouble, particularly concerning its ability to meet future obligations. Now, in Nigeria, this issue is exacerbated by heavy reliance on federal allocations, inadequate internally generated revenues as the IGR, and rising debt. Now, the consequences of these fiscal dynamics are profound, affecting not only state governments, but also the livelihoods of millions of Nigerians. Now, the recent Ondo elections and the insight from the state of states, right, provides a critical lens through which to examine the fiscal sustainability of Nigerian states, particularly in the context of single-party governance. Now, Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, his re-election under the All Progressive Congress highlights the ongoing influence of a dominant political party in shaping governance policies. In a single-party structure, such as that of the APC in Ondo State, decision-making can be more efficient, potentially allowing for quicker implementation of fiscal policies. However, as noted in the State of States, this efficiency must be balanced with accountability and transparency to ensure long-term fiscal sustainability. Now, the recent reports by Budget indicates that 34 out of 36 states are heavily dependent on federal allocations to finance their budget, with 32 states relying on these transfers from about 55% of their total revenue and 14 states depending on them for approximately 70%. Now, this dependency raises concerns about the long-term viability of states finances, and particularly as economic conditions fluctuate. Now, to discuss these concerns and provide insights is the head of the Open Government and Institutional Partnership team at Budget Foundation, a civic tech and advocacy firm. Vihala Jehovah Shammah Kwaga. I got the name correctly last week, but I missed it again. Vayala, right? I got it now? Vayala. I must learn this name.
You actually did better last time.
I did better last time, because I was in a hurry to say that I know it now. I missed it again. But thank you, Vayala. I mean, we had you last week, and I said that we needed a longer time to have this conversation. And it's kind of coming at a very apt time. You know, these elections that happened over the weekend got me thinking, right? I mean, Rivers State, we saw an example in Rivers State where one political party just clinched the entire, local government seats. Same thing we're seeing right now in Ondo State. And I believe even in, Ogun State as well. But tell me, right, in your assessment, what is the impact of a single party structure on governance? You know, yes, as I'd mentioned, quicker decisions would happen because it means that you can have unanimous agreements on certain things. But how does this impact overall governance structure within any system?
So, I mean, the question that you asked is extremely interesting. And we have to look at these issues in a complex, holistic sense. So we're talking about not just